Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Podcast Corner. In today's lesson, we are going to learn how to use three very common expressions: much, many, and a lot of. These expressions all describe a large quantity, but we cannot always use them in the same way. The correct choice depends on the type of noun that comes after them. We also need to think about whether the sentence is positive, negative, or a question. By the end of this lesson, you will understand the differences clearly and be able to use much, many, and a lot of more naturally in everyday English. Let's get started. Before choosing much, many, or a lot of, you need to ask one important question. Can I count the noun? Some nouns are countable. This means we can count them individually. For example, we can say 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, or 1 apple, 2 apples, and 3 apples. With plural countable nouns, we can use many. Other nouns are uncountable. We do not normally count them as separate individual items. For example, water, time, money, rice, and information are usually uncountable nouns. With uncountable nouns, we can use much. The expression a lot of is easier because it can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. It is also especially common in positive sentences and everyday conversation. So remember the first step. Decide whether the noun is countable or uncountable.
We use many with plural countable nouns. Countable nouns are things that we can count separately, such as books, apples, students, chairs, emails, and questions. Because we are talking about more than one item, the noun after many is normally plural. For example, there are many apples on the table. Here, apples are countable, and the noun is plural. We can also say, how many books do you have? In this question, we are asking for the number of books. Another example is, I do not have many questions. Many is very common in questions and negative sentences. A useful tip is to look at the noun after many. It will often end in the letter S because it is a plural noun. However, remember that some plural nouns do not end in S. For example, we say many people, not many persons, in most everyday situations.
We use much with uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are things that we do not normally count as separate units. Some common examples are water, rice, time, money, coffee, traffic, information, and advice. For example, we can ask, how much water do you drink every day? Water is uncountable, so we use much. We can also say, I do not have much time. This is a negative sentence, and much sounds completely natural here. Much is especially common in questions and negative sentences. However, in everyday positive sentences, much can sometimes sound formal or unnatural. For example, I have much time is grammatically possible, but most native speakers would normally say, I have a lot of time. So when you are speaking casually, a lot of is usually the better choice in positive sentences.
Now, let's look at a lot of. A lot of is one of the safest and most useful choices in everyday English. We can use it with plural countable nouns. For example, I have a lot of books. Books are countable, but a lot of works perfectly. We can also use a lot of with uncountable nouns. For example, she drinks a lot of water. Water is uncountable, but we can still use a lot of. Here are 2 more examples. We learned a lot of new words. And there is a lot of traffic today. Words are countable, while traffic is uncountable. A lot of works with both types. In informal speaking, you may also hear lots of. For example, she has lots of friends. Lots of and a lot of have almost the same meaning, but lots of sounds slightly more informal.
Much and many are especially common in questions and negative sentences. In questions, use many with plural countable nouns. For example, how many emails did you get? Emails are countable, so we use many. Use much with uncountable nouns. For example, how much coffee do you drink? Coffee is uncountable, so we use much. The same rule applies to negative sentences. We can say, I do not have many friends here. Friends are countable. We can also say, he does not have much free time. Time is uncountable. You can also use a lot of in questions and negative sentences, especially in informal conversation. For example, do you have a lot of homework? Or, I don't have a lot of money. However, much and many are still extremely common in questions and negatives, so you should become familiar with both patterns. In everyday positive sentences, a lot of usually sounds the most natural. For example, instead of saying, I have much homework, most speakers would say, I have a lot of homework. Homework is uncountable, and much sounds unnatural in this positive sentence. Now look at this example. There are many people at the mall. This sentence is grammatically correct and can sound natural. However, in relaxed everyday conversation, many speakers may prefer, there are a lot of people at the mall. Both sentences are correct, but a lot of often sounds more conversational. A useful speaking rule is this. In a positive sentence, choose a lot of when you are unsure. It works with both countable and uncountable nouns, and it usually sounds natural. However, many can still be used in positive sentences, especially in formal writing, or when you want to emphasize a large number. Let's look at some common mistakes. The first incorrect expression is many money. Money is uncountable, so we cannot use many. We should say much money, or more naturally, a lot of money. The next mistake is much people. People is a plural countable noun, so we should say many people or a lot of people. Another common mistake is a lot of informations. Information is uncountable, so it does not normally have a plural S. The correct expression is a lot of information. We should also say how much water, not how many water. Finally, we say many books, not much books. Always check the noun first. Is it countable or uncountable? This simple question will help you avoid most mistakes. Now it is time to practice. Choose much, many, or a lot of to complete each sentence. Number 1. How blank money do you need? Number 2. I have blank friends in this city. Number 3. There are blank cars on the road. Number 4. She does not drink blank coffee. Number 5. Do you have blank questions? Number 6. We ate blank rice for lunch. Number 7. How blank apples did you buy? And number 8. He has blank experience. Pause the video now and write down your answers.
Remember to identify whether the noun is countable or uncountable. Then look at whether the sentence is positive, negative, or a question. When you are ready, continue to the next slide to check your answers.
Let's check the answers. Number 1 is much. How much money do you need? Number 2 is a lot of. I have a lot of friends in this city. Number 3 can be a lot of or many. There are a lot of cars on the road. Number 4 is much. She does not drink much coffee. Number 5 is many. Do you have many questions? Number 6 is a lot of. We ate a lot of rice for lunch. Number 7 is many. How many apples did you buy? And number 8 is usually a lot of. He has a lot of experience. Much experience is also grammatically possible, but it sounds more formal. Let's review the main rules. Use many with plural countable nouns, such as many books, many apples, and many questions. Use much with uncountable nouns, such as much water, much time, and much money. Much is especially common in questions and negative sentences. Use a lot of with both countable and uncountable nouns. It is usually the most natural choice in positive everyday sentences. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing, and soon these expressions will become much easier to use. Please like the video, subscribe to English Podcast Corner, and join us again for another easy English lesson.